lovely to be here at Vegfest, isn't it? It's anybody's first Vegfest? Whoa, what do you think so far? Yeah, I mean, it's crowded and there's a lot vying for your attention, but the thing I like about it is it's like a little oasis of veganism, yeah? And so everybody may not be vegan, but they're on the journey and they're waking up as to what is in the food they eat and so on. And to me that's like, you can feel it, it's like energetically different, it's psychically different, yeah? There's a difference in the atmosphere here. And the first time my daughter and I came here, we were just like, ooh, it's so nice, you know, we just loved it. And it's sort of the way you'd like to live, the way you'd like it to be. Is everybody kind of comfortable where they are? Would you like to get into more of the circle, or are you quite happy where you are? Yeah? Because if so, you can move now, it's fine. And basically what I'm going to do is talk a bit, and then I'd like to read some excerpts from the book, specifically the ones that talk about Daisy the heroine's idea of the way the world could be, should be, used to be, will be, whatever, because time is not necessarily linear, we're starting to find out. So I feel that what I put in the book was just little tiny glimpses that I've been permitted to have of how exquisitely beautiful the world is going to be when all the killing stops, and where we just stop fighting and we just cherish all living things and each other. So that to me is, I've called it Vegantopia. And what I wanted to do was guide us there, do some readings to give us a taster of it, then do a guided journey there for us, and then gently bring you back and find out like what it's been like for, you know, where you found yourself. So yeah, I think I better not waste time talking too much. I think I'm probably better if I pack on, because I can just do this endlessly. The usual reminder to switch off or mute your mobiles, please, because whilst we're meditating, it would be really horrible if we had a you know, that would not be nice. So, has anybody got any questions before I start to do some readings? No? Okay, good. So, I'm just going to dip in and out. There's about 4 different passages that I feel are quite appropriate to set the tone, really. So Daisy is the heroine, and Brian is her best friend. As they ate their breakfast, Daisy asked whether Brian really thought humanity was evolving. Which way are we going, really? I'm so sick of the arrogant entitlement of people. Maybe we'll live to see the post-hominid era, when the naked ape lays down his club. Oh, how wonderful, Brian. I love that image. Thank you. Daisy made the motion of peering through a lens and clicking the camera. And the animals reclaim their right to roam the land. Free, noble citizens, equal and valued for their store of wisdom. And there was no more killing on the holy mountains. Every lake a sacred swimming place, and all the waters safe to drink. Let's pretend we're already there, Brian, witnessing the emergence of Homo lucidus, the dawn of humane beings. Some things have to be believed in to be seen. And so they lay on their backs next to one another with their eyes closed. I see a healing chamber made of crystal, open on 3 sides. It's on the flank of the hill, surrounded by purple heather and bright berry bushes. The sun filters through from above, and a pure stream bubbles up from beneath the earth. Under the chamber is a vast network of caves, whose walls glisten with deep green moss and delicate ferns. Deeper in, there are carpets of fungi between the rocks, and limpid pools of mineral-rich water. In the centre, there is a hot spring, surrounded by smooth rocks, which pillow your head so you can drift off to sleep and awaken refreshed. All the vegetation is delicious to taste and restores imbalances, Daisy begins. And it somehow knows when to grow, where people most need it, was Brian's contribution. There's music, sweet and high, very gentle, like tinkling wind chimes, or the laughter of fairies in the air. And from within the ground comes a very deep, reverberating noise which vibrates through the rock. The warm, somehow yielding rock makes you feel welcome. Like an old sofa, Daisy stretches and sighs. Together the friends weave a colourful, multi-dimensional tableau with their minds and imagination. Yet it feels more like a memory of some long-lost paradise. What if time was in truth not linear at all, but circular or spiralling? Brian introduced her to the fascinating concept that the apparent future was in fact informing and shaping the present, which implied that time was fluid. So, they might be having memories of long-distant past civilizations, or indeed of future experiences from their current viewpoint. She felt this gave weight to her instantaneous awakenment theory, wherein it need not take eons for society to evolve or transform. It could actually spontaneously occur. For certain, she hoped it would. Paradigm shifting was a reassuring thought. And here's another little bit where Daisy's just been trying to get other people at university interested in veganism and animal rights, and she'd set up posters and put a time, and she's turned up, she's made cakes, she's brought tea, and nobody turned up. Nobody at all. Feeling crushed and disappointed, she went back home, feeling thoroughly disillusioned. It was not enough to be the only vegan in uni. For her, veganism was actually the least anyone should be doing. The baseline from which humanity ought to be sharing and caring for the one planet all living things had to live on. Not for the first time, she drifted off on the bus home into a reverie of how she imagined the world could be, when there was no more killing or fighting, and no creature lived in fear. It was a place so idyllically perfect and exquisitely beautiful, she almost fainted. Each butterfly and bird was not merely going about its business, but somehow responsive to her noticing them. With its harmony of symbiosis and togetherness, living magical colours and liquid sounds, nature vibrated all around her. This was the peaceable kingdom she so desperately longed to see manifested. This was why she had been born, to lead others back to the paradise garden of her visions, restored to original innocence, far from ego and self-conscious struggle. Here, in this alternate reality she retreated to, humans had not used their genius to create weapons of war. It was awesome technology, yes, but none of it harmed the natural world. There were crystal cities and aerial orchards on rooftops. Nature was neither destroyed nor suppressed, but worked with harmoniously to benefit all of life. Following the natural world in its model of perfection, forest gardens proliferated in every walkway. Although many plants were cultivated for their inherent beauty, most of the shrubs, climbers and trees bore edible fruits and flowers. There was no monoculture of grain fields, but instead the land outside the living cities was a stunning patchwork of very intricately entwined plant species, making the most of the sunlight and rich, fertile soil. And not only the plants lived companionably here, people lived honest, translucent lives, perspicacious, open, and genuinely sharing with each other. Nobody would dream of stealing or of deceiving another, and defensiveness was not needed, because there was no concept of attack. If there ever arose any conflict of ideas, these were always settled in a loving, mutually supportive way. It would not serve the peace and delightful array of differences to have any one dominate. So, people would gravitate to the areas that best reflected their own interests and talents. Telepathy was a given here. and people delighted in showing their unique true colours, much like the bright plumage of the winged creatures. Unlike our old 3D Earth, where people, including Daisy, felt they had to shout loud and long to be listened to. In this terra, there was song, yes, but equally there was sweet, serene silence also. Music arose, either spontaneously or by deliberately practiced skill, and always appropriately, sensitively, and purposefully. Vegantopia, she called it, the nirvana, Eden, Shangri-La, or paradise, described by most earthly religions and mythologies. Away with the fairies again, Dazzle! Ryan's gentle voice interrupted her reverie, piercing the bubble of her inner sanctum, into which she retreated when life hurt her too deeply. Calmer but still subdued and disappointed, Daisy cried on Ryan's shoulder. He was, of course, his usual sympathetic self. He knew what she was like, so did not waste time trying to deflect her attention in other directions. She was simply obsessed and passionate about her cause, and the best he could do was console her when she was reduced to depression and tears. It's not that you're the only one who gives a damn, Daisy. It's just that they have so much else in their heads, you know? Yeah, well, so do I. I'd love to be doing more theatre and singing, travelling and cycling, you know? Do you think I want to be spending so much time speaking up for the animals? But if I don't, they won't have anyone on their side. With a display of passion verging on melodrama, Daisy threw herself on the carpet and drummed in frustration. Let it out, Daisy. A good dose of displacement activity really helps. Want to wrestle? And here Brian dropped to the floor near her, posturing in classic warrior mode, complete with animalistic grunts, chest beating and ridiculous facial expressions. He bobbed and swayed around her, nudging her with his arm and grabbing her with his long gorilla-like arms. It was no good. She couldn't stay somber when he acted like that, despite the seriousness of her feelings. Her inner tigress emerged and she hissed, arched her back and tensed every muscle in mourning. The gorilla whooped and leapt up into the air, the imaginary club raised. The tigress gave one menacing growl and launched herself, hoping to use the force of her spring to knock the gorilla down. This was playing directly into his hands, so she did but know it. This frustrated gorilla had his own agenda, and encouraging the suppressed passion of a tigress might just get him laid. And one of Daisy's best friends, and this is a conversation that we had. Have you not realised, precious animal defender and fearless environmental warrior, that your strength to stand up and speak now has come precisely from that oppression and vulnerability? Jean's words, in the exact inflection of her voice, kept reverberating in Daisy's head, causing a jolt of purest clarity to sweep through her troubled mind. Her eyes closed involuntarily as she swooned in the sunlight by the river, reflecting. Jean's insight was like a tsunami of truth, sweeping away the clinging cloud of inadequacy, failure and sorrow, which had hung over her for so interminably long a time. Another piece of childhood soul reclaimed, back from the isolation and separation it had remained marooned in. In a totally real way, little Daisy had been continuously reliving, re-experiencing her torture at the hands of her brother, who should have been her best friend, defender, playmate, and confidant. For lost children and for animals, there was no passage of time. It was only the tormented moment which could not be erased. With this insight piercing her childhood prison, she had become enabled to reach back in and retrieve her inner child. It felt literally like becoming more whole and alive than ever before, empowered, at peace and safe. As the reclaimed child melted back into her, she found herself in a beautiful fertile valley of exquisite life and colour, where everything was 100 times more alive and beautiful than anything she had ever seen, felt or heard. Heard! There was a like a gong tone resonating through and with and around her, so loud and low, yet so high and soft. It was almost invisible to her ears, yet all her senses were picking it up. All her senses were exchanging with one another. Not just senses, she was feeling in a total body-mind way. She was able to see all around her without turning her head. And she felt what lay over the horizon, as if she knew this place intimately. The meditation cave up there on the hill, in the mountainside, the mere thought of which would transport her there effortlessly. She knew this place, the clear light bathing her, so pure and sweet. She'd been here before. It was intimately familiar to her. Where did you just go? Jean's angelic face smiled at her with such kindness that it lifted her heart, like 1,000 butterflies all taking off at once from a single point of restfulness. Vegantopia, replied Daisy with a beatific smile, as tears of joy came unbidden from the corners of her eyes. The two embraced then with an unself-consciousness and mutuality, as if nobody else existed to see them, as if nobody else was there, as if nothing bad would ever come near them again. Daisy slowly came to, hearing herself humming and toning in the strangest way, with several notes coming out of her simultaneously. Jean was making similar humming and toning sounds in exact harmony with her. What? Had they been spiked with some drug or something? No drug, said Jean, as if she had telepathically caught the thought from Daisy's mind, and no illusion either. This is the way we're meant to live, said Angel. This is how we used to live in Eden, and this is how we shall live again, as we return to the garden. Jean's face had morphed again, this time into the most stunningly glorious face anyone could ever gaze upon. The lady. But this time, she appeared not just as the face of the quintessential mother whom Daisy had first encountered when she had been in hospital. She revealed herself as vast yet intimate, universal yet personal, surrounded by her bluest of blue cloaks, under which she was sheltering all her children. And these children included all of the creatures in safety and shared oneness together. She was the mother of all life, giving safety to all the innocents of the world. The blue was so intense, it reminded her of the bluebell wood she loved to visit every Maytime, where she would lie down amongst the flowers, inhaling their intoxicating scents and sensing the awake presence of the living landscape. And the blue was reminiscent of the vivid blue of Daisy's father's eyes. She remembered with a sudden rapturous gasp, gazing into them as a newborn baby, held safely in his arms in rapt bliss. And the blue was like the sparkling ocean where she had once porpoised about, diving into its welcoming embrace, discovering in self-forgetfulness an unimaginable freedom and joy, losing herself completely for a long, lovely time. Then, reliving this peak experience by herself in her memory or living fantasy, as gently as could be, the surf rocked her back upon the shore. She stretched out her fingers and toes and found herself once more returning to the familiar refectory with its everyday noises and mundane mumblings incoming like the language of bees. Just telling me I'm running out of time, so I better not do any more readings, but just take us all now into our own experience of finding ourselves in what I call Vegantopia, but names don't really matter. I think you get the feeling of what it's like. And for me, the world we see about us is a reflection of the mass consciousness, or should I say, largely unconsciousness, the group mind, if you will. But as more and more of us are awakening and becoming conscious that our thoughts are shaping our reality all the time, those of us who are able, willing and ready to devote part of our life and our activism to co-creating this visionary place that we so long to see manifest around us in the physical. We, because we are awakening, have so much more power to create this than the randomness of people's monkey mind chattering thoughts. So, for me, this isn't just a pleasant journey and an escapism from the out there. This is very vital work, and I feel that doing it as a group is really, is really important. Thank you, Jeff. So, without more ado, if anybody wants to lie on the floor and they feel safer that way, or they could relax more, please do so. And otherwise, just get yourself as comfortable as possible and allow your eyes to close and take a nice deep breath in and blow it out. Another deep breath in and release tension. Make noise if you wish. Breathe out expectation. Another nice inhalation. And let it go. And one more breath in. Breathing out judgment. Make a noise. Noise is good. Give yourself permission to make a sound. And if anybody knows how to do toning, please join me in toning. Feel invited to allow your voice to be used by the angels of love and light that I'm going to call in now to help us to reconnect with ourselves. I ask that only the brightest and best visions be shown to us. I call on Archangel Michael to throw his cloak of protection around this space. Breathe long and slow, sinking into your chair as you allow yourself to drift and float like a leaf, gently, softly, being carried to a place of perfect safety and peace. You feel yourself being brought to rest now, and as I sound the tingsha 3 times, we shall have arrived at our destination. From wherever you find yourself now, take a look down at your feet. Are you wearing anything on your feet? What do your feet look like? Feel the ground beneath you. Is it earth or rock? Is it grass or moss? Maybe it's sand or even water. Breathe in and notice what scents and smells you receive. Just carry on the breeze to your senses. How does your skin feel? Is there sunlight warming your body? Breathe in deeply, inhaling all the impressions that are coming to you. Take a look at your hands. Reach out. What do you touch? What other sensory impressions come to you. What do you notice? Tastes? Sounds? Voices? Water? Just be aware. No effort, pure effortless ease. Breathing long and slow now. Just receiving. So relaxed. So safe. Is there a message here for you to bring back with you? Let go of expectations, and a thought will percolate up for you. Deep breath in, and as you let go and float on that breath, you know what your message is. A smile spreads across your face, and joy seeps through your whole being as you bow in gratitude for this point of awareness opening up within you. Know that you can return here any time you choose to. This is your sacred, safe, special place. You give thanks as you prepare to leave. Gently rising and finding yourself coming back, lifted like a leaf, carrying on the breath back here to this room and the sound of my voice. Drifting back now, feeling the ground and the weight of your body in your chair. Taking a deep breath in, you wiggle your toes and fingers as I sound the tincture again. Another big breath in, and slowly blow the breath out, making a noise if you feel like it. Begin to stretch your arms and legs, sensing the presence of those around you. Preparing to open your eyes whilst I sound the tincture again. You will be fully awake and refreshed, feeling energized and wonderfully relaxed as I sound the tincture one last time. Allow your eyes to start opening and feel yourself fully present here in the room once more. Stretch. And you can stand up and have a stretch if you like. Make sure your back and your body back here. Everybody back. Not lift anybody behind. Okay, good. How is everyone feeling? Okay? Yeah? Wonderful. And I've been vegan for 40 years, so I was at uni and I was the only vegan. And it was 15 years before I met a fellow vegan. 15 years of trudging a lonely furrow and thinking there was something wrong with me and I didn't fit in. And so I love it when I can come somewhere like this and I feel kind of normal, you know? and it's like, wow, it's like I've come home and see my family, yeah? It's like, this is the way it's supposed to be. We're open and open-hearted. gentle, loving people. It's beautiful. So, once again, I thank you everybody for coming and sharing.